Now, I promised you last week that I would go into the past and pick a film from several decades ago. So I'm going to go back to 1960. 1960? Okay, give you an idea. To Kill a Mockingbird, the book was released, not the movie, but the book. At the Oscars, Ben Hur was winning all the awards. Um, the number one music song on the radio was actually a melody called "Theme of a Summer Place" by Perry Faith. Faith. And on television, the Andy Griffith Show premiered, along with the Flintstones and My Three Sons. So this is a while ago. This is pre me. This is okay. Um, but this is one of these films I saw infrequently growing up because you'll find out why. Oh, okay, the movie in question that we're going to be talking about is called Black Sunday from, as you guessed, from 1960. This is an Italian movie and it was directed by oh, let me see if I can get the name right here. Mario Bravo. Now, he wanted, this is his directorial debut, and one of the things that he wanted to do was he wanted to have something that was just as strong as Dracula. And Hammer, which wasn't a British horror company, was coming out with these other good horror films. If you haven't seen any Hammer films, there's a slew of them, and they're all worth a watch. What this fellow did was he took kind of gothic horror and he improved upon it by giving it truly strong air, ambiance, and a little bit more violent. And until this point, violence was mainly implied, horror was mainly implied. But this guy actually got into showing things, and a lot of it was with special effects, which were pretty good. He did some things. This film, filmmakers love watching this film because of what this guy did. He figured out stuff to do with the cameras to give like a 180 turn where people thought there's no way he could have pulled that off that smoothly. That had to be done in an edit. But no, he managed to pull out his dad helped made this rig. Whenever he got a hold of high-end movie equipment, he took full advantage and figured out new ways of doing it. He figured out there's this scene where there's this witch. The basic story of this horror film is a witch gets sentenced to die by this. The Inquisition was Inquisition styled or themed to movies were very big in the 60s. You'll find witch hunter general. There's a slew of them. Anyway, so it begins with these people persecuting this witch, and she puts a curse saying she's going to come back and go after the descendants. And some 100, 200 years later, that happens. How it happens is fun and interesting. And she's sort of like, suddenly, now she's a witch. Suddenly, there are all these themes of vampirism that are coming in. And there's some implication of devil worship and lots of other little cross horror genres coming in. But really what he's doing is going beyond that gothic horror mood and bringing in and embracing in these the eye and making not just the cinematography is wonderful in this film. He with so little he does so much. There's this scene where the witch is getting younger or is getting old. I'm trying to remember. Anyway, the way he does it is by using certain color. He's filming this in black and white, so there's some tricks you can do in black and white. So he had painted these lines on the woman's face and started filming first with the red filter where they don't show up, and then as he moved over and filmed with the green filter, the lines started showing up, and suddenly the age progression's happening. Just also the practical special effects. He invented a lot of them, just because he had to come up with stuff. And it wasn't jury rigged. He carefully thought out how it would work underneath film and how it would work with heat, how it would work in this situation. So you're going to see some fairly gory, for that time, no one had seen anything quite this gory. Now, this kind of getting more into the physical aspect of violence. This movie is the pivot point. So now in Italy, violence is becomes more outlandish because of this film. Spaghetti westerns with their outlandish violence and the vivid red blood spurts up. That can come back to this. The Gallo, the Gallo films, which would lead over into slasher films, those violent films come back to this film. That's why filmmakers really enjoy this film so much, because he really broke ground. He did things that were interesting. The stories fairly, you got your witch haunting people. I mean, it sounds like straight out of a comic book, but it's portrayed well. The actress and the actors did a superb job. It's got this wonderful atmosphere. I highly recommend it for my Friday night movie recommendation. Now, you can see this film on Canopy. That's Canopy spelled with a K, Kanopy, and which is produced, or rather, Canopy is supported by your local public library and from universities. It's completely free. All you need is a library card and a zip code, and it's got thousands of movies and TV shows. And Black Sunday is one of them. When they brought this film to the guests, okay, in Italy, it wasn't terribly well received in Italy. But when I came over to the U.S., the audience really liked it. Now, they did a couple things when they brought it over to the U.S. Now, previously, they had the music composed to it was done by a guy named Roberto Nicolosi. But when it came to the U.S., they had Les Baxter do the soundtrack for it. Now, again, this is a time period where doing soundtracks or doing compositions for horror films, normally they would just grab music that was used from other films or just classical music and take snippets and pieces. But so the Les Baxter soundtrack was a little bit more jumpy, a little bit more peppy, but the overall themes carry over. I can't tell you if the version on Canopy has the Les Baxter soundtrack to it, or if it's got the original soundtrack to it. So this is one of the things that people love about film is which version am I listening to? Which version am I watching? Now the U.S. version also removed some scenes of sexuality and some scenes of violence because 1960s the U.S. was very prudish. This film managed to get like 1 or 2 showings in Britain before it was banned, and wasn't able to be. It didn't get shown there for another 8 years. So much fun. When a movie starts getting banned, it's got to be pretty good. But but compared to modern things that happen now, a lot of the modern horror films come back to films like this one and really owe their legacy to things like Black Sunday. Now, if you liked this movie recommendation, I've got others on my YouTube channels. Please like and follow me on my YouTube channel. That's a great way to support me. I appreciate that. I'm not making any money on it yet, but hey, get up some followers. I also do unboxing and tasting videos, and I've got lots of other videos I've done in the past. Anyway, that's my movie recommendation. Oh my God, I've rattled on forever. Thank you for listening this long. Links down below in the doobly-doo. See you next Friday.